The Galactic Council chamber hummed with the satisfied murmur of 1,000 alien voices as Ambassador Vexthera of the Hegemony delivered the final words of humanity's judgment. Her crystalline form gleamed under the chamber's bioluminescent lights, each facet reflecting the smug expressions of the assembled delegates. "The species designation is hereby finalized," she announced, her voice carrying the weight of cosmic authority. "Humanity. Classification, minor species, subsection 12. Technology level, primitive. Threat assessment, negligible." Scattered applause echoed through the vast amphitheater. The Zephyrian delegates' tentacles writhed in amusement, while the Korath representatives' multiple eyes blinked in synchronized approval. After months of deliberation, the Council had finally reached its verdict on the newcomers from Sol 3. High Counselor Threnk, an ancient being whose species had ruled the galaxy for millennia, raised one of his 6 arms for silence. "The matter is settled. Earth shall receive the standard minor species package, limited trade access, restricted travel permits, and a single system of sovereignty. They may submit requests for technological advancement through proper channels pending review." The laughter that followed was polite, but unmistakably condescending. Another backwater world had been catalogued and filed away. Ambassador Chen Wei sat motionless in the human delegation's modest seating area, his weathered face betraying nothing. The former naval officer had expected this outcome, but hearing it spoken aloud still sent a cold fury through his veins. Around him, his small team of diplomats and scientists maintained their composure, though he could see the tension in their rigid postures. "The decision seems rather premature," Chen said, rising slowly. His voice cut through the chamber's ambient noise with surprising clarity. Vexthera's form shifted, reflecting mild irritation. "The evaluation was thorough, human. Your species has barely achieved faster-than-light travel. Your longest-range vessels require months to traverse distances our shuttles cover in hours. Your weapons technology is crude, your energy production insufficient, and your political structure chaotically fragmented." "Indeed," added Counselor Yakmor, the Hegemony's military liaison. "Our scouts report that your most advanced warship, what do you call it, a battleship, would barely qualify as a patrol vessel by our standards." The chamber erupted in amused chittering and harmonic resonances that passed for laughter among the various species. Chen waited for the noise to subside, his hands clasped behind his back in a posture that any human military officer would recognize as parade rest. "You mentioned our most advanced warship," Chen said quietly. "Which one did your scouts observe?" Yakmor's 4 eyes focused on the human with predatory intensity. "Your UES Leviathan, naturally, the largest vessel in your pathetic fleet. Our intelligence is quite thorough." Chen nodded slowly. "The Leviathan, commissioned in 2387 if I recall correctly. Titanium steel composite hull, fusion-powered, armed with kinetic railguns and nuclear missiles." He paused, allowing a small smile to play across his lips. "Impressive that your scouts managed to observe her. She was decommissioned 15 years ago." The laughter in the chamber began to fade as delegates registered the implications of his words. "I'm afraid your intelligence may not be as thorough as you believe," Chen continued. "The Leviathan was our most advanced warship. In 2387, it's currently a museum orbiting Luna, serving as a reminder of how far we've come." High Counselor Threnk leaned forward, his ancient features creasing with the first hint of concern. "What exactly are you suggesting, human?" "I'm suggesting that you might want to reconsider your evaluation." Chen's smile widened. "You see, while your scouts were busy cataloging our museum pieces, they missed something rather important." As if summoned by his words, every communication device in the chamber suddenly crackled to life. The voice that emerged was crisp, professional, and utterly human. "Galactic Council Control, this is Admiral Sarah Torres, commanding officer of the UES Prometheus, requesting permission to enter Council space for diplomatic purposes." The chamber fell silent. Even the ambient hum of life support systems seemed to pause. Threnk's voice carried a tremor when he spoke. "There are no human vessels in our sensor range. Council Control, be advised that we are currently holding position approximately 50,000 kilometers off your station's starboard docking array. We've been here for the past 6 hours." Panic erupted among the Council's technical staff. Sensor operators frantically recalibrated their instruments while communications officers tried to establish visual contact. After several minutes of frantic activity, The chamber's primary display finally flickered to life. The ship that appeared on screen defied everything the Council thought they knew about human technology. The UES Prometheus stretched nearly 2 kilometers from bow to stern, her hull a seamless blend of adaptive armor plating and energy-absorbing metamaterials that bent light around her like a mirage. She hung in the void like a sleeping predator, radiating power from drives that hadn't even been theoretical when the Leviathan was built. "Impossible," Vexithara whispered, her crystalline form dimming with shock. "Our sensors show nothing." "Stealth technology," Chen explained conversationally. "We developed it out of necessity. When you're the new species in a galaxy full of established powers, you learn to be very, very quiet, at least until you're ready to make noise." Admiral Torres's voice filled the chamber once more. "Council Control, we're reading some rather interesting energy signatures from your weapons platforms. I'd recommend powering them down before we mistake them for hostile intent." Yakmor's four eyes widened in terror as he realized that his superior weapons were being tracked and targeted by systems he couldn't even detect. Chen looked around the chamber, noting how the amused expressions had transformed into masks of growing concern. "You asked about our political structure being chaotically fragmented. You're not wrong. We are a contentious species. But there's one thing that unifies humanity faster than any other force in the universe: being underestimated." The Prometheus began to move, her massive form shifting with a grace that belied her size. As she turned, the Council delegates caught glimpses of weapon systems that seemed to exist in defiance of known physics. Shield generators that warped space itself, and drive signatures that suggested capabilities far beyond their comprehension. "The thing is," Chen continued, his voice carrying clearly through the stunned silence, "we heard about this evaluation months ago. We've had teams of anthropologists, sociologists, and military analysts studying your Council's decision-making processes. We knew exactly what conclusion you'd reach because, frankly, it's what we would have done in your position." He gestured toward the display, where the Prometheus had been joined by the ghostly outlines of other vessels. Ships that materialized from apparent nothingness as their stealth systems disengaged. "So we decided to use your assumptions against you. While your scouts were examining our old technology, we were preparing to show you what human ingenuity looks like when it's properly motivated." High Counselor Thrank found his voice at last. What do you want?" Chen's expression grew serious. "What we've always wanted. Respect, fair treatment, and the chance to prove that humanity deserves a seat at the table, not charity from the bottom rung." He looked directly at Vexithara. "We'd like to request a revision of our species classification." The chamber remained silent except for the soft hum of the Prometheus's engines, a sound that seemed to promise both protection and destruction in equal measure. "Motion to reconsider the human classification," Thrank said quickly. "All in favor?" The vote was unanimous. As the Council scrambled to draft new treaties and classifications, Chen allowed himself one moment of satisfaction. Humanity had learned long ago that it was better to be underestimated than feared, right up until the moment you chose to reveal your true strength. Outside, the Prometheus and her sister ships waited patiently among the stars, their crews ready to welcome humanity's newest allies to a galaxy that would never underestimate them again.